Hi everyone, I am going to walk you through a planning document designed to help you plan, understand, research, and then create your invertebrate raft. Okay, so first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to fill in these blocks here. And so we're going to take a slightly different approach. We're going to start by picking our topic. This is going to be the main idea, the focus of this activity. Then you're going to look at your audience and format. This is what you are creating and who you intend to see it or read it. And then the role is the perspective you are going to take during that. So you can look here, and these are your three topic choices. You get to choose to identify the phylum, the invertebrate phylum, that is most commonly misunderstood or unfairly represented. Identify the phylum that has adapted the best form of self-defense, or identify the phylum that has developed a characteristic that should be the inspiration for the next great invention. So for the first one, most commonly misunderstood or unfairly represented. So I feel like there's a lot of invertebrate phylums that people make some common mistakes about. So for example, I don't think a lot of people understand that insects and crustaceans are part of the same phylum. Or my 3-year-old thinks that worms are snakes, right? Those are not the same things. So you could talk about something that people unfairly think of that phylum. For the second choice is best form of self-defense. So I think of this of I am now working for the U.S. military, and I am trying to come up with the next great form of defense in some invention I'm making, right? And a lot of these phylums have great defenses. You've got your stinging cells, you've got your spiny skin, you have got your shells on them, right? So think about a phylum's overall characteristics. So we're not getting super specific to a species, but one of those key overlying characteristics of a phylum, which one of those is best for defending that animal, that species, that phylum, right? And then for the last choice, it was develop a characteristics that should be inspiration for the next great invention. So a lot of man-made inventions and great ideas come from nature. So this kind of could go with your self-defense one is, do we need to use the stinging cells, the biology behind the cnidarian stinging cells to create the next great invention? Should we find a way to make shells? Should we be looking at how mollusks makes their shells, or how the octopus creates some camouflage there? That one's a little maybe too specific, but looking at the shell aspect of mollusks, the slime aspect of annelids, the filtering aspect of our porifera, right? What aspect of an overlying phylum, the exoskeletons, or arthropods there, what overlying phylum characteristic would be great inspiration for some kind of invention? Which phylum's overlying characteristics is an excellent example of self-defense, how they protect themselves from predators? Or which one of them is just misunderstood? Which one do we either view all positively, even though that's unfair, or negatively, or we often confuse? Once you've picked which topic, you can go back to your first slide. You can just simply copy and paste it in here. Next, you need to go to your audience and format. And some of these, depending on your topic, might make more sense, but you can make a PSA, a public service announcement. This can be a radio announcement. This can be a written announcement. This could be like a commercial, but it's designed to be informational. That is designed to counter misinformation about a phylum. Okay, so if you have decided that you want to talk about how people think worms are snakes, you're going to provide the facts about the annelids in comparison to snakes. Okay, you can compose a speech to present to government officials, calling them to action. This could be calling to action for self-defense, for an invention, for putting out a public statement saying, stop attacking the jellyfish, they're not bad, right? Or create a presentation. This could be in a variety of ways. Presentation could be a PowerPoint, it could be a Canva, it could be Adobe Spark, I think, double check the science teachers. That would be presented to the investors of a design company. So you're saying, take this animal's characteristic, it's not an animal, well, an animal, and some characteristics, and turn it into the next great invention. Then you're going to identify that on the first page. And last, you have to pick, are you going to be using this from first person as if you are a member of that phylum, I's, we's, or are you going to present it as more of the human, just talking about them in general? All right, now that you've picked your topic, your audience and format, and the role for this RAFT, Invertebrates RAFT project, it's time to dive in a little bit more to research. So it's important to remember that in doing this, you've been given notes in class that look at the basic characteristics of that phylum. And that is our focus here. We are focusing on the phylum as a whole and the phylum's characteristics. But we also need to dive into some research to help us better present our arguments, right? It should always be founded in facts, and it should have a lot of them to support it. So when you click on this link here, it's going to bring you to this document. So this document is what I would call a hyperdoc. It has a lot of links already prepared for you to take you a variety of places. So right here, you can automatically start with rereading this booklet. I think you guys did this in class. If not, it's a great tool to use. So it looks at each invertebrate phylum. So it is set to be printable, so you're going to have to kind of navigate through it. But you can see here, it breaks down the different invertebrates. In this case, specifically looking at specific species, but the species are associated with like worms or your annelids, right? You know, your insects, spiders, lobsters, those are your arthropods. And as you go through them, it gives you an overview and some information. Those are just more like fun facts, but you can find the individual phylums page, and it's going to give you some basic information about that phylum that would be helpful in creating your project. Okay, if you click back over here, I then broke down some articles, okay, that are more of overviews. I then did Wonderopolis. These are shorter, more species specific. So remember, you're not presenting on specific species. You're doing a phylum's overall characteristics. And then here's another source. So these articles right here, these top ones will primarily take you to an article more like this, okay? So this is giving us more information about arthropods, specific examples of arthropods, structures and function, okay? Giving you great details to include in your project, but again, primarily focusing on the phylum overall, okay? This is what a Wonderopolis article would look like, okay? So again, it's looking at a little more species specific, but the information presented here on sea anemones is relevant to the phylum as a whole. Okay, so you can read through here and figure out some of the key information about those stinging tentacles. There are also videos linked in here, okay, that can help you collect information. Yes, a video from a reliable source does work for research. And then the other option is our Newsela articles, okay? So you can use your Newsela articles. You're going to log in with Google here. It should let you see the whole thing. And in doing this, don't forget you should cite your source using MyBib. Okay, that is your extension that hopefully you've installed to help get you citations. Okay, once you have done your research, you're going to want to make a CER. Okay, so you're going to want to probably do your research before you narrow down your exact phylum. Okay, because you might not yet know which phylum's characteristics make the best dimension. So do some research and then decide. You're going to start with your claim, okay? So blank is the most commonly misunderstood or unfairly represented phylum. You would fill in that blank with what you now think is the phylum that makes that true for the topic you chose, okay? So based on the topic you chose, these are an example of a claim or thesis statement to support that topic. And then you're going to put your evidence. Okay, so as you're doing your research, you need to collect evidence. You can do it here on this file. You can make a new document. You can write it on paper, but you're writing down that evidence, those facts you find in the research that backs up your claim. This claim is not just based on opinion. Yes, it is an opinion, but you need facts to back it up. If you think that annelids are the most misunderstood phylum because they're most commonly mistaken for snakes, you need to give me facts to support why they are not snakes. If you think the stinging cells of the cnidarian phylum is the best example of self-defense, that is great. That is your opinion, but your opinion should be based on facts. So you need to give me examples of which species have stinging cells, how they use those stinging cells, how that helps protect them, okay? So work on doing your research to create a claim and collecting evidence to back it up.